Easy with hosts Mary Martin and Jim Hartz.
Hi, and welcome to Over Easy.
You know, Mary, our first guest today may be known to today's television viewers as an outspoken and very popular lady plumber, Josephine. But do you remember when she was probably Hollywood's brightest child star?
Oh, I certainly do. My word. Her name is Jane Withers, and how her fans have always adored her, including me.
And me. Well, Jane is with us today to talk about her childhood, her movie career, marriage, and family, and we'll also talk about, you're going to tell us about spiritual vitamins, I think.
Which Jane has in abundance.
Absolutely. Then later in the show, we'll be dealing with the important subject of women and alcoholism. Our guest will be Rhonda Chicato.
And finally, we'll learn the art of making paper at home from one of the best teachers around, Wendy Lilienthal.
But now to our first guest. Perhaps Hollywood's all-time favorite brat who grew into a thoughtful and generous woman with an abiding spiritual faith that's characterized her life. Welcome, Jane Withers. Jane?
Thank you, Jim. Hello. Nice to see you. Hello, precious lady. Oh, I'm so glad to see you again.
Sit yourself
Thanks
down.
a million.
Jane, honestly, you don't even know how far back you go into my life because you were such a little girl when I first saw you. You were at Fanch and Marco's auditioning, and your mother was there.
Dear
and you
Gussie.
must have been about 6.
Yes, I probably was, because that was when we first came to Hollywood from Atlanta, Georgia, my hometown.
What was that like for a little girl coming to the big, glamorous Hollywood capital of the movies from Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, it was naturally very thrilling because I had gone as far as I could go by 5.5 as Dixie's Dainty Dewdrop.
What was that?
Isn't that a hoot, Mary? Don't you just love that? That was my title at home. I started out first on the stage where they would hold the envelope over your head and you'd pray a lot to win. And I would do singing and dancing and impersonations. And luckily enough, I would win on Saturday nights and then be available for the next Saturday nights. And then I started on Aunt Sally's Kitty Review, which was a radio show. And then by the time I was 3, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but it is the truth, I had my own radio show in Atlanta. Really? That's where the Dixie's Dainty Dewdrop came in. That was my title. And again, I sang and danced and interviewed the local celebrities that would come to town.
Is that right?
Yes, it was wonderful. But I'd gone as far as at 3, from 3 to 5.5.
I don't know whether I could talk at 3.
Well, you know, it's funny. Later on, you know, I have 5 children grown now and 4 grandchildren. But I'd look at my kids when they were growing up and I'd think how boring their life must be, because at 3 they were just playing with other kids or playing in the sandbox, or naturally they were learning and reading, and I was trying to teach them to read.
Is there a difference in the way you see that now than when you saw it then? Do you look back at it with any regrets that you didn't have a kind of a normal childhood?
Gravy, no. I'm so glad it wasn't normal, because I don't know what normal is, and I'm so glad I don't. But I have had the best time in everything I've ever done. I thank God every day that my mother wanted to be in show business, because I have had, without a doubt, the neatest, the most unique, the most interesting life that I think any lady could ever hope to have, because I love people. And let's face it, what in the world can you do other than show business? There are a lot of things you could do, but...
Jane, tell me about your relationship with your mother, because it has been a fabulous one.
It has been very special, and Mama was never a stage mother in the sense of the word stage mother. I mean, she was not pushy. She said, well, I was sort of pre-planned as being in show business because she loved it so, and she thought it would be a very interesting life.
But you did too.
And, well, I learned to love it because I didn't know her plans naturally before I got here, but she would go and study the marquee, literally, and say, Withers is a long last name. She will have to have a short first name to look right on the marquee. And that's where she first taught me to plan ahead, put it in God's hands, and if it's right, it will become a reality.
Well, you've had a very special relationship with her all of your life. And actually, you were telling me before we went on the air that you gave up that Josephine the plumber role to go take care of your mother. She's ill now.
I was very grateful because for a change she needed me. And I was so grateful that when she did need me, I could be there, because she was always there when I needed her. And we had a great friendship, just like I think I'm blessed with having my 5 kids.
I was going to ask you that. Is your relationship with your mother carried over in your relationship with your children?
Oh, I think so, and I'm so grateful that she still was in good health and good spirits, and of course, I raised all 5 of mine. I didn't have any nannies or governesses or anything like that. Not a soul. I didn't want any. I loved that responsibility, and I was thrilled to death. I always said I'd work, you know, I was thrilled and grateful that people still wanted to see me up till I was 21, but I always told Mom and Daddy both. I said, I will stop and prayerfully find Mr. Right, settle down, be a housewife and a mother, because I wanted 5 children. I planned 5 children. That's what God gave me.
Are they close together?
I planned them about a year and a half apart, and that's when they came. And I told my pediatrician, I said, now, I'm sure sorry I'm going to have to interrupt your Sundays, but all my children are going to be born on the Sabbath day. He said, but Jane, we're not having cesarean. I said, I know, but I have that much faith because I was born on the Sabbath day, and it always meant so much to me.
And were they?
You dang tootin' they were.
Were they really?
Yes, all but Kendall. Now, she's my rebel. I just couldn't hang in there. She was born on Thursday, so I just couldn't wait till Sunday.
Never on
Kendall. Never on Thursday.
You know, another facet of your personality that probably most of our viewers don't know about, but the people that you've touched do, and that's your volunteer work. You've volunteered your time ever since you were a child.
Well, I think we're all here to care and to share. That's what life's all about. And I love people, and I care so much about this extraordinary world we live in and the people in it. And I just have the best time, and all the things that I enjoy doing, I share, and the things that I don't know anything about, I want to learn. So you learn by doing.
But Jane, you're always cheerful on the outside, but there has to be times when you don't feel like it because you have had a bout with rheumatoid
arthritis. Yes.
Now, what do you do about that?
Well, thank God for God and my faith, because I just felt like at that time in my life, I was like an old worn-out clock that needed re-oiling and refueling. And that's what I told my doctors. They told me, well, if you walk at all, it'll be 2.5 to 3 years. And I said, I don't have 2.5 to 3 years to be ill or to lay here in this bed. I have children to raise and things to do. And I know that with God's help, I'll do it. And so many people said, but we might have the same feelings, but we didn't get over ours. I said, I had to. I didn't have a choice. I was divorced or about to be, and I hadn't planned on that. And it was the first time I thought in my life I'd ever really failed at anything, because I pre-planned my life, set my goals, and put it into prayer, and it usually becomes a reality. And I hadn't planned on a divorce, and that was the only time I think I'd ever ask, why, God, did this not come about the way I felt it should be and would be? And I found out later when I married the second time, when I married Kenny Rare, because, of course, now my first marriage, I must say this in all honesty, Bill and I are good friends. That's Bill Moss from Dallas. You know Bill. I know you do. He's a wonderful person. And I just adore him and still do. We're good friends. And our 3 children we're all very friendly and everything. But Bill, bless his heart, I just don't think should be married. He's been married 4 other times besides me, and he's still looking.
Well, I want to finish up on your arthritis.
Yes.
You willed yourself over
Yes,
it?
I just made up my mind that I was going to walk out of the same doors that I came in flat on that little cart and couldn't move in any way, shape, or form.
And you did?
And I did. You better believe I did.
Somebody told me...
I pictured myself, if I may share this, because there's so many people that do have arthritis, and any of you folks out there, I don't know what cameras are, but any of you folks out there that have it, if you can picture in your mind being whole and well again, because that's the way God created you, and you just picture in your mind walking and doing everything you've ever done before in your life, and know that you can if you really want to, and by gum, you will.
Somebody told me...
Take it from that crazy lady that knows.
Somebody told me to ask you what a spiritual vitamin is.
Oh, my goodness. That's a phrase that I coined a long time ago. In fact, one of my dearest friends, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, he's always getting after me to finish those books that I started a long time ago, too. But to me, a spiritual vitamin is a combination of many things. It could be merry smile is a spiritual vitamin. Sharing thoughts with you all, that's a spiritual vitamin. A beautiful flower. A great experience.
A spiritual vitamin takes you. Other people may take vitamins, but they must take you those
Well,
spiritual
bless your
vitamins.
heart. I think you give out what you feel and the vibrations that everybody gives around you. That, to me, is very spiritual, because the nicest gift you can give is to give of yourself. And that's what we're all here for, is to share again. We're right back to sharing and caring.
Final question.
Yes.
Where does all of your enthusiasm come from? And what do you do on bad days? How do you keep up?
Oh, dear
'Cause
God, I don't have any bad, and I mean this. I know I sound like Pollyanna, but it is God's truth. I really don't know bad days, or tacky days, as I would call them. If I feel I'm getting slightly tacky, I rearrange my thinking. Because sometimes like when I was sick, I rearranged my thinking, and so I rearranged my life.
It's all up here.
It's all in the mind.
Jane, thank you so much for
Thank
being with
you
us.
for
It's a-
allowing me to share
always
this
too
time with
quick.
you. I know, but that's life. I hope to see you
You'll
again
come back.
soon.
Okay.
So long, everybody.